A sweet scientist, but ain't nobody in white coats. Incorrect quotes will get your whole damn face broke. Let's cut to the chase. I'm untouched with the lace gloves looking like lightning once they thunder your space. It's not even fair, the footwork can't be compared, but it's the bite from the right that'll leave you searching for air or calling for Superman to save you.
I thought you was brave, dude.
And if he dies, he dies. I'm guaranteed to break you. The 3-piece with a biscuit, make it repeat if you missed it. With the fists.
Hey guys, welcome to the lab. We are back with Sundaze with the Clink Room. Really special guest in the house today, Sierragonz, also known as Nelson. I don't know if that's breaking news. I don't know if many people know that, but Sierra, welcome to the lab. How you doing today?
I'm doing good. Thanks for the invite, man.
Anytime. Before we commence with the Sundays with the Clink Room festivities, let's give a chance to all the Clinkers to kind of get to know you a little bit better. First off, local guy to me. I didn't know you're Canadian at first. Glad to know that you are. Yeah, how did you get your start with the Clink Room? What kind of drove you to collaborate with them?
To be honest, I love hats from a long time, right? But I have always collect baseball. I always was into like on-field baseball hats. There was at one point I had all the hats, and it drove my girlfriend crazy. But that's another story. But I think like 3-4 years ago, I think like 2021, I think one of my coworkers was like, I see you like drawing, because I've always bring my iPad to work, right? When I'm on my break, I put in some time in there, and then he's like, this is place. I see you rocking hats, baseball hats, but there's this spot that you can make your own designs and submit them, maybe get produced, and they're new era hats. And as soon as I heard all those 3 things, I was like, let me check it out. I went in, I checked it out. It was great. I went through the whole page. I think it took me several minutes to like look at that to catch up or something. But I ended up pre-ordering my first hat, which was I think Jason Villante's Sluggers.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
The baby Sluggers?
No, the green one, the one with the bat.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one. Like I've always been into baseball, so during that week, that was the one that caught my eye because baseball related, and it was so well drawn, and it's like the colors reminded me of the Oakland A's colors. Not the Oakland A's fans color, it's just that color, green and yellow, was so nice. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna do it. And through the comments, I found out you got a certain weight. So I'm like, it is what it is. I'll wait. I'll just forget about it, and then one day
She showed up.
yeah. And then the delays happened, so it's like I was a little anxious, right? It happened. I waited, and then I started submitting. I think I submitted like 2 or 3 before I got my first. I think my first one was Mind Calendar.
Okay.
That was my very first one that went into crits and eventually went into the shop. I didn't know the process or anything, so when they reached out, I was all like confused, had to fill in paperwork and stuff.
Really quickly.
Yeah, it happened really quickly. I had no idea, but I was really surprised, and at the same time, I appreciate the people who voted and stuff, because that was one of my first designs. I had that design for like 3 years already. And I tweaked it throughout the years, and then you know what? I gave it a shot. I'm gonna put it out there. And my background is I'm Central American, right? My country is part of the Mesoamerican whole hemisphere there. But I was so inspired by Mesoamerican stuff. So my grandfather always took his time to explain me stuff. And when I started drawing my sketchbooks, it was always like stuff. And then I decided to submit it, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna submit it. I see a lot of stuff. Kobo was one of the guys I used to like scroll through his page and see to. I'm like, these guys are doing it, you know what I mean? These guys are doing some nice Aztec, Mesoamerican stuff. Let me submit, but I didn't want to step into anybody's toes, right? I just wanted to like do it my own way, right? So I submitted it, went to crits. I was excited, and then when I got the email, I was like, oh, unreal. It was unreal to get it, and even crazier when I got it on hand.
Yeah.
And to see the quality, I was like blown away, like crazy.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
In terms of the Clink Room, they're known for the unique and creative approach in terms of designing caps. What kind of challenges do you face when you try to take your art from like your iPad and translate it onto that canvas, which is the 5950?
The first, I've always loved details. When I draw cartoons and stuff, I always like zoom in. I like the whole zooming in. The digital changed the whole game, right? Because you can zoom in and put in more details. That was something I had to really, dumbed down a lot.
Hmm.
And I'm still learning, right? If you can go back to my catalog and come back, now I tend to take second looks. I'm like, oh, will this be good? It's too much, too detailed. But that was one of my challenge right there.
Yeah.
Challenges were, and also color picking because you're limited. And I'm used to like trying to put shades everywhere I
Or
can,
blends.
lights.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Gradients and
exactly.
stuff. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It was fun. I'm still learning. I'm a firm believer that you're constantly learning every day, and I still look at the designs and I'm like, you know what, I can probably use that tip. Maybe some people are using a different type of outline or a
Hmm.
different weight, right? Like thickness in a
Yeah.
certain way, or sometimes use colors just to give the shape instead of the outline a little small section. So all those things have been challenging, but I always look for a challenge, and that was the hardest thing. One
Yeah.
of
For
the
sure.
hardest things.
Line weight is definitely one of those underappreciated aspects of cap design. So like big, bold, thick outlines. For me, I'll always
And
lean towards. Sometimes it doesn't need it. So it's like really where to push, when to pull. That's totally where the gray lies. But in terms of your creative process, could you walk us through your creative process when designing a new hat? Are you looking for, have you like have the concept already in mind? Have you named it already? Or are you looking to build it off of like the subject matter?
to be honest, a little bit of both. Sometimes
Hmm.
I come up with the ideas randomly. Sometimes I'll see something and it'll spark an idea, and I'll just be sketching. And I could be sketching and have no idea, no design name, no nothing, right? Just go with the flow. And then as I'm drawing my idea, I'd be like, oh, this looks like I can flip it around and do this, and then an idea comes in, right? A name. And then I try to, follow through. Sometimes I do get inspired a lot by documentary. When I watch a lot of documentaries, Mesoamerican stuff, Mayan stuff, I do see things, and I'm like, well, that'd be pretty cool if I can twist it around and make it into a type of logo, less detailed, something that can catch someone's eye and be like, well, what's that? So that's another thing. Documentaries. I'm constantly on YouTube rabbit holes. But and I love hats, so when I see a design that I think could look good to a hat, I mean like I try it. I try it out. You know what I mean? And sometimes my girlfriend talks to me, and we come up with random ideas, or coworkers during a chat, something will come up. Like the stingers, I think the stingers.
Yeah.
It was a concept my daughter sketched and drew, and I even posted her drawing, and it made it to crits. It was funny. I was pretty hyped up that day.
That's
But
awesome.
we were talking about it, and then she technically gave me permission to redo it. So
Hmm.
she gave me the idea and things like that. I bounce ideas over with my girlfriend and coworkers, friends, even people I met online now. Like, one of the
Yeah.
guys is Gemini triplets. We're always chatting, and he'll give me an idea or just a random, video, things like that.
Yeah. You mentioned the community, and Clink Room definitely has a strong community for fans and collectors. How do you consider? Did you consider the audience when creating your designs?
At the beginning, I wasn't really sure how everything. I didn't even know there was a community, to be honest,
Hmm.
until I got into Clink Room, right? And nowadays, try to keep in mind for what somebody might like. I get a lot of messages when I post stuff, so kind of get a feedback of what people like, people don't, you know what I mean? And I try. I'm always trying to do something related to baseball or Mesoamerican stuff, but I'm always open for other things like puns and ideas. And I try. I give myself a challenge to not just stick to one thing. I try to come out of the bubble. I don't want to be known as just a Mesoamerican guy,
Yeah,
right? I
exactly.
want to be able to expand and do other things, right? So I'm
Yeah,
glad that I have other designs aside from Mesoamerican, because that shows me, and I feel nice to see it, that I can actually, you know, go beyond that, beyond my comfort zone, I guess you can say.
for sure. And your hip hop stuff is another good
Oh
example
yeah, yeah,
of
hip hop
that,
stuff.
right? For sure.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like an
That's
ongoing
recently.
series.
Yeah, that recently I've been trying to do a hip hop design for ages, and it just I couldn't come up with something original, right? I'm like, I don't want to be that guy playing off somebody else. No, that's not me. And then the b-ball, I don't know if you remember the b-ball stance,
Hmm.
that one. That was originally going to be a basketball, because b-ball, we all used to call b-ball basketball. But like, I am not that much into basketball anymore. as I was before, and I was like, I need something baseball related. And you know what? I'm like baseball, b-ball, and I'm like, you know what? It might not be very popular because it's a baseball instead of a basketball, and I'll give it a shot, and I'll try to make him with those the 80s, 90s breakdancing type of pose.
Yeah.
And
He's got the shell toes on and the Congo hat and
yeah,
everything.
the
Yeah.
the Converse, those things back in school, those were my things, and
Yeah.
my shoes. And
Nice.
then now with the recent ones, the tapes, I felt like I needed to bring something about the tapes because it all happened because my nephews and nieces were like making fun of me. It's like, what is that? Because I brought it. No, what is that in your shirt? Or what is that in? What do you have in your hand? What do you have in your boxes there? I'm like, it's a cassette. I was like, what is a cassette?
Yeah, I have no clue.
And yeah, that was like, you know what? I'm gonna show you what a cassette is. I'm gonna make it fun, and then
That's awesome.
that's where it came from.
Yeah, I love the storytelling aspect we can do with hats and educate and just commemorate the past and don't get it lost. You can make something that speaks to an older crowd and at the same time can educate people that might not have a chance to ever know. Like that's awesome work for sure. In terms of
Sure.
collaboration, I've been noticing you've been doing a little bit more with different
Yeah.
people. So like collaboration, basically one of the keys in many artistic endeavors. Describe how kind of your new collaborations have kind of worked with different members of the Clink Room community.
Well, usually if it's just somebody, it's not if it's somebody's bringing me the idea,
Mm-hmm.
they'll tell me the idea. We constantly go back and forth. I'll make a sketch, I'll send it, and it'll be like, oh, you know what? How about we change this? You know what I mean? I like to get the input. Sometimes it is hard work because you put in a lot of effort to make this type of sketch, and then you got to switch it up. But it's all good. I've done that several times, and when we do get the final product, and we say, okay, we both agree on this. Let me do it. Let me do it first. Let me clean it up and everything, and then we can try to figure out the colors. Obviously, the story's already there, but when I do it with an artist, we go back and forth file sharing. You know what I mean? You know, they'll bring me the idea, or I'll bring them the idea, whatever it is, and then back and forth until we're both happy with the idea. I do have a hard time with colors because, again, the limit of the colors forces you to change certain things to different colors. Sometimes a beak, let's say I'm doing a beak will have to be a color similar to the logo just because it's over. But
Yeah.
I mean, it is. The other artists will probably. I've been working with COD
Mm-hmm.
Designs, and he's pretty good. He's awesome.
Yeah.
He's awesome, and he helps me a lot. He's taught me a lot too. And I'm glad when we first did our first collab, it was great. It was a great experience, and the recent ones we had, it's fun.
Yeah, he's a killer artist, man. Some of the
Yeah,
stuff
indeed.
and the motion he's able to add in his logos to just make them look like they're moving or jumping off the page.
Yeah,
He's got a really unique skill. I'm
yeah,
a huge
that's
fan of his. But in
all
terms of Clink
different.
Room, they can embrace this wearable piece of art philosophy almost. How do you ensure that your designs not only look great but also function well as a piece of headwear?
Man, that's a good question. I'm a guy that my worst critic.
Mm-hmm.
I do something, and if I'm not feeling it, I'll put it down. I'll come back the next day or the following day. I have several sketches, several drawings that are like halfway done in my iPad in my sketchbook. That eventually, probably like 3 or 4 months later, I'll be like, hey man, I feel I can finish this now.
Yeah.
And but I tried the best as possible to make something that looks great, and I also show it to family members or even my girlfriend or anybody. It's a different set of eyes, right? I want to see because I could be biased and be like, "Oh, this looks great," right? And but I always try to show it to somebody else, see what they have input. Sometimes I even will send a DM to another guy, another clinker, right? And I'd be like, "What do you think of this?" Get a little different input because we all have different points of views and different little things that we like.
Awesome. That's awesome. Are there any like dream projects or collaborations within the realm of the Clink Room that you'd love to tackle in the future?
There's so much ideas in my head that I can't really pick out one, but I do be wanting to do something that's related to what's it called to my background. I'm Salvadorian, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if you ever eaten pupusas. Have you ever eaten pupusas? It's like a Salvadorian dish, like one of our main dishes. And I've done a couple logos of a pupusa, I guess you can say. It's like a tortilla stuffed with meat and cheese, something like that. A mascot like that. That's probably one of my, but it's tough because the crowd, the Clink Room following, I don't think there's a lot of Salvadorians. There is a lot of other Latin American following, but I don't know. Hopefully one day I can squeeze it through.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah. I think it's tough, right? You want to, we do it all the time at the Capologist 29. We want to do stuff that represents our culture. That's why you see a lot of Asian themed stuff coming from me, and then from him, he's half Mexican, so we have a lot of different designs there. But then the ones that surprisingly don't do well at all is the Canadian stuff. So whenever we do anything Canadian theme, it just does not, for whatever reason. I don't know if Canadians just don't want to pay the USD and the shipping or whatever it is, but yeah, it's always like a struggle. So you have to balance it from like a passion, something you want to do, but then it's also got to make sense. So
Yeah.
it's always that type of internal struggle. So
Yeah.
we keep trying it. We're like, okay, all right, we'll do another Canadian one, and then you end up setting yourself up for disappointment sometimes. Sometimes the timing's got to be just right. It definitely relate to that feature. But all right, man. Thank you for doing that part of it. Let's commence with the Sundays with the Clink Room festivities. We will start off today talking about their fresh colorways drop, Revived. You have any initial thoughts on this little 4-pack?
I think they're all great. I love all of them. The only thing is I don't really rock white hats.
Okay.
The pizza one was different color, man, I'll be honest, but all of the hats are good. I love the toucan one.
Yeah.
And the catacombs. Oh, so good. All of them are good.
One I guess disclaimer, I'm not sure if I'm really supposed to be disclosing this, but if you see a smaller fresh colorways drop, it's usually because New Era rejected something. So they all get submitted with 6 or whatever it is, but then this just means that 2 have died with the legal process. So shout out to New Era. We don't know which 2 hats will never see the light of day, and none of them should really, in theory, get rejected because they've been approved before. Yeah, these are just recolors. Either way, let's just quickly break down each one. Yeah, RIP to the ones we don't know, but Toucans by our fellow Canadian Matthew Bell. Actually, wait, is he Canadian?
Yeah, he's London. I think he's from London.
Yeah. He does so much hockey that I assume he's. But yeah, Toucans, high level pun. I love this hat, man.
I love it too. It was way before my time that I made Clink Room, so this is I think I'm gonna. Even though 65 and change currency and then shipping Canadian, it hurts.
Yeah,
it hurts, right? But I do like this a lot, and I like the colors. The colors really pop.
Yeah, they got this like almost like Toucan Sam, Fruit Loops,
and
colorway vibe. This is strong.
He's popping the can off with the beak. That's that's so good.
Yeah, I gotta say though, I've never double fisted beer, but
no, me either.
It sounds like a fun time.
Yeah,
me either. Good job, Matt. All right.
Good job, Matt.
Fighting Slices. This is the box colorway. I call
just
it
the pizza box, right? Yeah.
Clinker Kai.
That's man, I like the little character. I like cartoons a lot, right? So I love the little character swinging the cheese pizza. Melting. Yeah, it's so good. The hat, I don't mind hats on hats.
Yeah,
so that's pretty cool too. Just the colorway, you got to really convince me to get a full-on hat, white hats, because they get so dirty even by looking at them. And then they cost me 65 American. I'm like, I'm gonna rethink how many times I'm gonna wear this white hat, right?
Yeah,
but it's great. I love it. Yeah,
white's a tough color because it looks so good when it's new. It looks so good when it's new. Right?
Yeah, that's true. I remember I used to have an old MLB White Sox with the stripes. By 2 months, I'm like, why did I wear it? And I was playing and I was sweating.
It turned yellow, man, for sure.
Yeah.
Damn. All right. I'm going to need help. I'm going to do the phone a friend right here. How the heck do you pronounce this word?
So the A and X, Asholobrihe, right? That's the AX and the O, Asho, right? Like a SH.
Okay.
Sound. Asholobrihe, yeah. Asholobrihe, yeah.
Nuevo. That means new, or what does that
Nuevo,
mean?
Yeah. Nuevo means new, yeah.
Okay. See, I kind of know. So this is the Axolotl, right?
Yeah.
And it's done with I guess like a
watermelon colorway.
Watermelon color, okay.
Yeah. I think so. No, I think that's what it looks like to me. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, There's a lot to it. This is fun. It's
Yeah,
got
it's
the limes and the beetroot. So it's really tough
yeah,
to photograph this properly too.
yeah, because you get a lot of light sources coming this way, that way, and then a lot of
Hmm.
detail in between. It's pretty cool. There's a lot of detail in there. I don't know. I don't have the other one to compare with, but I mean, I've seen it. But this one looks more colorful, more playful. More happy.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. They could pull that off. I'm always amazed at what Clink Room does when they pull off stuff.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Good job, Siak. And then the last one,
Oh yeah, see,
Catacombs. This is the beach colorway. Clicker Casey. The original, I believe, was like black, red, and a little bit of
yeah,
yellow.
yeah.
Yeah.
I remember seeing that one pop up, and I'm like, I was wondering how is this gonna get done? And this is great. I love the blue and white and the eyes being yellow, the little
Hmm.
skulls in between. I like it. This is a great hat.
Yeah, this was one when it came up originally for pre-order. You're like, how the hell are you gonna
Yeah,
pull this off? And they did a great job, man. There's no real
yeah.
details lost. They got every little
No,
bone in there, man. They did a
no.
great job.
If I see that from certain feet away, I'm like, what's a skull? You know, there's skulls around it because it's nice.
Yeah, for sure. If you were to limit yourself to one pre-order out of the four,
Whew,
which one you going
man.
for?
I really like the toucan, like the colors. Oh man, the toucan and the catacombs. I
Hmm.
probably have to flip a coin to see which one, but those two right now, those two of the colors are really, really, really popping right now.
Yeah.
So maybe if I gotta give an answer, maybe I'll go with the toucan then.
Okay. I think gun to my head, I'm going Catacombs, but Toucans is right up there for me.
Yeah,
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 they did a good
catacombs
job.
is great.
All right, so that's your fresh colorways review from us, and then we will get into the last call portion of this. So these end tonight at midnight.
Hmm.
So if you're watching this, it's Sunday, and it is midnight. So we got Shaka Pop by CODs. We talked about him earlier. Shout out to him. Raven Lunatics by 40 Swords, and a Koinobori. I butchered that. I apologize. By Clinker Magnus. So it's like a koi kite right there.
Kite,
So
yeah.
yeah. Which of these three kind of stick out to you here?
Right away, I like the Raven Lunatics. I like to put play on words
Yep.
and then the Raven's so funny and like well done. It's like so cool.
Yeah.
The way he's running away like some lunatic would with
Yeah.
the straight jacket and all. I like how he incorporated the straight jacket with a lot of details. And it's great. I like it. I like it a lot. I do the Shaka Pop too. I just recently found out it's from Hawaii, right?
Yeah. Yeah. The Shaka.
Yeah, yeah. So that one's cool too. The other one I don't really don't. It's a well drawn design. It's just it doesn't ring anything to me, right? But they're all great. All those three are great. But if I had to pick one, I would probably go with the 40 Swords.
Yeah. I was gonna say too is like you never really see a white panel hat, but then you're obviously wearing one. But it
Yeah,
isn't common. It's not definitely
yeah.
not a common thing. So that was
Oh
cool to
no,
see him do that. But yeah,
yeah,
40's been around forever, man. Shout out to TJ.
yeah. Oh yeah. Shout out to TJ.
Yeah. So for the one on the right, it's basically a carp streamer,
Hmm.
um, traditionally flown in Japan to celebrate Tango on Seku. So basically Children's Day. So national
Oh,
holiday in
okay.
Japan. That's
That's
pretty
pretty
cool.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And that colorway we've
Cool.
seen, like Hat Club use it for their Fuji hats. So that's interesting that they're taking like a popular like fashion cap colorway
Hmm.
and putting it here. So that you always like to see that kind of intersection happen. So
Yeah.
yeah, these are all really cool. The Shaka one, I would worry that there's too many of the same kind of green tones, so that there's not a lot of potential pop off it. I know he does have that pink outline, which is really gonna pop off, but I worry a little bit about the logo getting lost in the crown. But the
Yeah.
art is great, though. There's no doubting
Yeah.
that.
Oh yeah. And I have a hard time. I have a hard time with pink. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah, I have a hard time. But I mean, it is a well drawn, design. But I see what you're saying. The greens, because I've noticed that the thread, once you get it in your hand, it's different from the mock-up color.
yeah, yeah.
You never know if it's even very close to each other, right?
I feel like it is. Yeah. Um, who knows? Maybe it'll come in Because if that comes in super puffed and super raised, then we might not feel that way. But that's just one of the things initially that I worry about from afar. But all in all, I'm with you. Raven Lunatics is the winner for me. That's just such a funny one. He's been posting like different stories with different crazy people too to push the sales. So he had one of like Gary Busey, man. That one had me laughing.
I saw that. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
Very very cool. Right.
Let's take a look at the other three that are up for last call. 1 second here. So we got El Rey, De los Muertos by Aaron, Cat Fiend, and Ephra. We got Deer Woman by Coyote Beads, and then the Clink Mercenaries X-Ray version by the BP Mercenaries. Anything here that sticks out to you?
All three, man. I can't. This one's tough. Because El Rey, I have the original one, right?
Yeah.
And this one's like a must. I like the color and the whole Dia de los Muertos type of vibe to it. It's a must. Like I need that to pair up with the other one. Dear Woman, it's just great. I like the fierce look of the woman, just like with the horns and the details. Like I think it's gonna embroider well. You know what I mean? And the colors are nice. It is really black crown. I think it is. And then the hair is kind of dark too, but I think if it's puff embroidery, it's gonna look nice. And then the other one, I missed on the original mercenary one, BP mercenary ones, but man, that's pretty cool. If I have enough money and buy that one too, that'll be my first glow in the dark hat.
Oh really?
Yeah, haven't bought a glow in the dark hat yet, but that's great. I love the Ravens and all three. I can't really pick one. Am I allowed to just select all three?
Select all three? Yeah, you could definitely. What's really cool about, to me, what really stands out for the Clink Mercenaries one is, so he's a gorilla, and that gorilla skull is like a perfect gorilla skull. Like I don't know how he got all those crazy details, like the brow ridge, and then the sagittal crest, which is like it's like when the crown of the skull kind of like curves because of the jawbones are so strong. Yeah, that's just so cool. And the anatomy of it is so awesome. And then for the Deer Woman, you do have the option. It is more pricey, but then they do the actual one-of-one bead patterns to add on to the crown. Those are so cool. I've always wanted to do one. The price is a little heavy, but if they're literally sewing the beads on by hand and each one is unique, like it's worth the money.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I think that option is gone though. I think that option is gone now.
Did they?
Yeah, I think they only sold a certain amount with those options.
Oh, so they sold out of it. Okay.
I think so. Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah. The first one that they did with the Coyote Heart, I think it was, that one looks so cool.
Yeah.
And then the El Rey, what's not to like? I mean, it's got the right motifs. It's playing on that. It's part 2 of it. It's got the different, because Cat Fiend, West Coast guy, so it's got the purple, it's got the gold, it's got everything about it. And then, like you said, it nails the Day of the Dead motif and with the bright colors and stuff like that. So I think all of these are excellent. It's a really strong week, man.
Yeah, it's gonna hurt my wallet.
For sure. I don't know who I would give the edge to. They're all like different things. Yeah,
that's true.
Since the BP Mercs let me use their music, I'll give them the edge. Shout out to them, man. They made my life infinitely easier. Yeah, by having original music just on tap. My life's been made way easier by them.
That's pretty cool.
So I will give them the slight edge, but all three excellent offerings. All right, on to Clink Room. So we're on to Monday Morning Crits. So we're gonna get your initial reaction to these. You have not seen these.
No, I've not seen this.
Let's take a look at what we got for the crits. Hardships by Clinker Wind Studios. So he's back with another strong pun. Hardship. The ship's being taken over by an octopus. What's your initial thinkings of this?
Looks pretty cool. A little dark. Are those the back blue? Is that the remainder tentacles?
It looks like the outline of the tentacles, but I don't know if that would make sense if they are. But they do look like it, though. Yeah.
Yeah, because I wouldn't see the water waves being that way. So maybe that's what he's trying to do. It looks pretty cool. Like, do the boat and the whole idea of the octopus just taking it down with his arms. I would love to see if one of the tentacles is like grabbing onto the front of the ship or part of the ship. Or a boat. Give me more of I feel like he's about to
Pull it
sink the
in.
ship. Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's pretty cool. The water, maybe use another one of the other blues in the background, maybe, or white.
Yeah, that's my initial concern with the design. Like when you first look at it, it's drawn really well. It looks aesthetically pleasing. But the problem you can get into is like the readability of it. So it feels
Mm-hmm.
like the water, you can't really separate the water from the tentacles. It almost looks like the water's like oil colored.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
then maybe make the tentacles a completely different color than the water so it stands out or makes it pop a little bit. But yeah,
yeah. I can see that. Yeah, yeah.
that's
Because I
where
think the water, if you add a little shade of blue,
mhm.
you already have the tentacles as the other color, right? So just
Yeah.
grab the blues on the tentacles and the white, and then mix it in the water, make it more readable, separate it from the ship and the tentacles.
Yeah.
I think you're right. Yeah.
Yeah. And then there's the same orange that's in the suction cups that's in the boat. Like maybe
Mm-hmm.
make those different colors potentially. But I get it though. You're trying to make it like one theme or whatever. But
Mm-hmm.
I think just the readability, it suffers from a little bit of
Yeah.
readability. And
And
then
the
like the
colors are
boat.
really dark too, right? So the
Yeah.
readability is a little harder, I guess.
Yeah. And then the boat, like it's got a mast, so you assume it's really big, but then from the front
Mm.
it doesn't look like
No,
it's a big boat, right?
like it doesn't stick out. Like, yeah, it doesn't stick out to show the length of the boat, right?
Yeah.
Especially, I'm assuming it could be like a pirate ship,
Yeah.
but yeah, I see what you're saying. You're
Yeah.
right.
But all in all, strong showing from Win Studio. Glad to see him back.
Oh,
On the Rocks by Lane and J Matz. What's your
J
initial thinking
Max.
on this one?
It's great coloring. I love the colors of it, and I like it. The only, and this is just my opinion. This is only my opinion. I can't do Mickey Mouse gloves or floating
The
hands
floating
for
hands.
some
Okay.
reason. Yeah, for some reason, I've always stayed away from that. I don't know what it is, but again, it's my opinion. But it's well drawn. I like the shine on the color on the glasses. The bottle looks great. The only thing is like I can't see the rocks, right? Like you should add a little more like ice cubes or something to make it more for rocks.
Yeah. Or maybe have less liquid in the cup potentially.
Yeah, a little less halfway. You can see the cubes from a see-through type of see-through look.
Yeah. My only
Hmm.
concern too is we've seen like alcohol stuff done and beer stuff or whatever, but like the bottle itself almost looks like a iced tea bottle as opposed to a whiskey bottle.
Oh
I
man, you
mean,
just changed the perspective of it to me. Like like the Arizona iced tea or the other
yeah, the
iced teas. Yeah,
Lipton. I think it's Lipton,
yeah,
whatever,
Lipton.
sweet
Yeah,
tea or whatever. But I don't know. Maybe you don't want it to look too whiskey like, because
maybe.
then maybe you'll find like a approval process problems. But I think all in all, it's like a kind of like a fun design. It's cool. It's interesting. I would just maybe get rid of a little bit of the liquid in the cup and then in the bottle
Hmm.
itself, so it's not completely full. But yeah,
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 yeah. Maybe like you're right. Maybe he was going for that different look on the bottle to try to avoid the legal part of it.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
but it's a well drawn. He's very
Always kills
cool.
it.
He always kills it. He's an amazing designer, and I like all his stuff. You know.
You know what this reminds me of? I don't know if you remember the California raisins.
Oh damn, those little toys! I remember I had those
Yeah.
toys.
Yeah, so
I
they
don't even
didn't
know
have
where they are
floaty
now.
arms. They had like little stick arms, but they did have the same type of
Yeah,
hands and stuff.
yeah, and they had a little. Yeah, man. Oh man, you just brought back a lot of flashbacks.
Yeah,
That is true.
yeah. But good
Uh,
job, Lane, and good job, Jay.
yeah,
Moving
good job.
forward, Night Bite by
Night
Clinker
bite.
14.8. What's your initial thinking here?
It's very simplistic, but that's a positive, I think, in a good way. I think it will look nice and embroidered. I don't know what the drips are about though, or the
Maybe.
moon. The moon's
Well,
like a
yeah, maybe because he's shaped like that, he's a fruit bat, so maybe that's like fruit juice
maybe.
potentially.
Okay, okay, yeah.
Yeah,
I like it's a unique style. You know what I mean? I see it and I'm like, you can tell it's a bat right away, but it's
mhm.
drawn in a different way that I would ever do it. But I like it. It's just the drips maybe incorporating them in a different way. The moon, I don't get it. Why is it on top, or is there a specific meaning for it?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. The colors are like again, it reminds me of that watermelon, colorway, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
The way it's
It's
drawn, it makes me think it's a fruit bat, but then it does have the blood almost.
yeah. The fruit bats have those pointy fangs though?
Probably
I'm not
not.
familiar.
I
No,
don't know.
right?
You've done way
So
more bat hats than me. I'm
yeah,
sure
they've
you've looked
been
at the text
the
on them.
vampire, but I've never seen a fruit bat. Right? I don't know if their teeth are like that. Who knows, man? But like, it's nice. It's. I think this is a new guy, right? I've never seen this guy.
I've seen them
This
around
Clipper.
here and there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So the fruit bats look like more like a flying raccoon, almost like a flying rat.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
So it looks like he's got like the blood sucking bat
Mm-hmm.
style of
Wow.
head almost, but yeah.
Oh, okay. I see. It'd be nice to see the drips coming out of his mouth if that's what it's supposed to be, a vampire type of bat, and that's blood. That'd be cool to see too. And he has enough color. It doesn't have enough colors that you could add the drops and make them red.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that'd be
because
cool.
doesn't have a lot of colors. So yeah, he's not so limited, but red would be nice to add.
I'm with you though. The moon almost seems like an afterthought.
Yeah, yeah. Usually the crescent of the moon goes
Horizontal.
horizontally, right? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if it's just a symbol, or if it's meant to be the moon. I would like to know why it's in that facing upwards.
For sure. All right, let's move on. Good job. 14-8.
Yeah, good job.
All right, Whale Sharks.
By Levi's been putting in some work.
Yeah, he's like constantly in there now, at least once a week for sure. So it's got a lot of negative space, which is really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And then like that kind of plumage or the dots from the actual whale shark. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's pretty cool. I like the simplicity of it. The dots. I see some dots that gets really small. I don't know how that's gonna do in embroidery. Maybe reduce the amount of spots. I know I'm not an expert in embroidery either, but I like that it's a negative space. Usually hats with negative space, everything's puffed out and it looks really cool. I think I've done two actually, but only one I have in hand. That has negative space and it looks so cool, man. So I think this maybe thicken out the outline. Maybe. What do you think?
It's tough when it has negative space, right? I think one of the ways that they can make this hat too, and then ensure that it looks good on future runs, is to still do the embroidery, but just make it tonal.
Okay.
So that you'll see the shape in there, but there will be no outlines or whatever. It'll just be that flat blue that goes against it. That way you can do, because if you do it like this without the fill, if you do any other colorways, you're almost forcing yourself to use like a really dark canvas. Because if you use a light canvas, it'll totally mess it up, I think.
Yeah.
I think doing it with like a fake fill would be cool. But yeah, it's really interesting that it's negative. I like that because it flows with the water, and then that's how they look in the water. You see the spots first. But yeah, I like this one.
The colorway is nice. It goes well with the design.
Yeah, all the different shades of blue in it, and then the gray just kind of goes in there.
Even if the visor was the same color as the crown, I think it still look great. You know.
Yeah, for sure.
How do you think those lines in between the circles would do though? So you're very you know about embroidery and digitizing, so that's why I'm asking. What do you think? How do you think those lines would do in between those circles?
It depends if they're raised or not. If they're raised, you might need to take some circles out, I would say. Maybe space it a little bit so it ensures it stitches right. If they're flat, I think they can get away with it.
Okay.
So it really depends on what it would be. In an ideal world, I think it would all be raised and then just leave the negative space there. I think it'd be a really cool after effect. Practically, though, I don't know if it can get all the little tiny dots raised.
Yeah, it's going to be nice to see if it hits the shop, and nice to see how they make it.
Yeah, really smooth work though. Yeah. Great job, Levi. All right, let's see what else we got. Top fins by the green one. Looks like Heather's back.
Oh yeah, she is. She's back at it. She had one last week. This week again. That's pretty cool. It's very what's it called? I don't know. It looks nice. I just can't read the two. I know there's another whale going behind the front one. I don't know. kind of it took me a little while to see if it was another whale behind. But unless that whale is flat embroidered and the other one's popping out, I guess it can help. But I don't. Another thing, the lines. I don't understand the lines. The circle, just enough with the circle we find, I think.
Yeah.
And
So this one's a tough one. So
yeah,
it's still centered because it's centered through the whole design, but I almost want to center it from where the circle is, if that makes any sense.
yeah. You know what? That's. I thought my eyes were playing a trick, but yeah, it's a little off. I think you're right. Center it from the circle. That's true. Yeah.
And then I don't know if I need two orcas. So like one of them, the front one is in a very like weird angle. It's almost like drawn like almost like a dolphin would swim. Very thin tail at the back. And then for the front one, the jumping, the back part of it looks awkward. So
yeah,
I don't know.
yeah. It's like very. I'm noticing now the tail, the one that's jumping. Yeah, the tail looks really off. I think it's the awkward angle for the other one too.
Yeah, and then I'm with you. The lines, they don't really do it for me. It doesn't really add anything. It's the purple is really rough against the dark navy, and then the orange doesn't look different enough than the pink. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. So wait a minute. The crown is purple. Oh no. Oh, I see. Now I see the little extra lines, the purple lines by where the blue is.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like the purple lines off the blue.
Yeah, I see.
Doesn't complement the navy color.
No, just get rid of those lines. Focus on your main subject. Just maybe just one orca.
Yeah, it's tough. I don't know. Maybe there's like a story behind the two different orcas. I don't know. We have to see the inspo, but this one suffers a little bit from the proportions and stuff like that.
Yeah, because you're right. The front orca kind of is awkwardly shaped, shoved in the circle. Yeah, I think you're right. Suffers a lot from the proportions.
Yeah, but keep at it, Heather. I know you're a new artist on the scene. I'm doing it a long time, so still adjusting a little bit to the canvas, but good work nonetheless. So that's Top Fins by Heather. Moving forward, Anchors Away by Raphael. So this one has I believe I included it. I think he did it with a regular pirate, so maybe this is like the dead version pirate, but there is an anchor hidden in the glow.
Okay, I see. Damn. I could never do, whenever I've done my designs, I can never come up with a glow in the dark. I'll give him that. That's pretty cool how he integrated the anchor in there.
Yeah.
Skulls.
Skull cell.
Yeah. And I like the hat. I like the way it looks. The little part from the anchor in the bottom jaw, the part here in the top, throws me off, but I know it has to be there for the anchor.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Nice skull. I like when a mean-looking skull shows up. I like it.
So there was one with Gabe that was called Deadweight.
Oh.
It was an anchor stabbed in, or was a skull stabbed into the anchor.
You're right. I totally forgot about that one. That's true.
But I want to say that Raphael did something like this with a regular pirate. I could be wrong.
Because I remember seeing this one. I don't know. I can't recall the date or the week or the month that I saw one on Crits. Because I remember he posted. I remember when he posted it, but I just don't remember if he had a hat or it was just a skull. But this is hits. It seems very familiar.
Yeah, it might be a resubmission too, so that might be it. But yeah, like he did a good job on the initial drawing. I feel like maybe the jawbone here is a little bit too big. All in all, it's cool that he hid the stuff. Like I love reveals like this, but
it's cool. Yeah, it's cool. Yeah. What do you think of getting rid of the skull and bones on the hat? It seems too small, no?
It looks okay, but it's morphed by the
the circle. I see it. I see the circle.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, the circle. I see it now. Like the little circle makes the skull circle like around it.
Bow-legged.
Yeah.
It's tough, right? Because it's the skull on the hat looks really well drawn, but I feel like the crossbones they get jacked up because
because they're like circled, right?
But yeah, all right. Good job, Rafael. Moving
Good
forward.
job, Raphael.
Toxic Traits by
Toxic
Clinker
traits.
Jake.
I
And
just,
the floating hands are back.
I just recently saw him post this. I did the post. It's
Mhm.
pretty cool. So this, it's nice to see a different take on that potion bottle.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. The skull. I think it's my opinion. I'd probably do it less cutesy. The skull. I don't have a problem with the hands just because the elbows and the hand could be hidden based on the angle of the hands. I'll just imagine that they're not floating hands and they do have arms by the way they're positioned. I like the bubbles. I like the bottle. Everything's cool. I would just make the skull a little meaner, but that's everybody's has a different choice of skulls, right?
So yeah, so go
The
ahead.
white front panel is back.
Yeah, it looks like it's chrome or even like a CMOS or like an
Yeah, it could be
Everest
cool.
green. But yeah, this one, so a couple things for me. So the skull, it's hard to read where the skull is. So if it's on a glass bottle, it almost feels like it's in the liquid.
Yeah.
Or if it's etched in the back of the bottle, I want to feel like the skull's on the front of the bottle, if that makes any sense. Like if it was etched into the glass. And then the round bottom, I don't know how you would change it, or because like to me, it's like you wouldn't ever be scared of something like this because it would just roll off the table. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's just like around the table. So I don't know. I don't think feet is an option. So I don't know what I would do.
No. What do you think about the liquid inside? Taking out the outline, just leaving it color as is, give it more of the liquids inside the bottle instead of
It's possible, yeah. I think that will help it. But yeah, I think the theme's really cool. We've seen something similar way back then when Manny did one. He did one, I think it's called Your Poison, where it's like a running Kool-Aid man. And he had like a stick with a nail in it. So this is like a different take on that. I don't know. I don't know what I would do to change it, but it just feels like there's like maybe one too many elements. Because like the bubbles are outside the bottle, but the bottle's sealed, so I don't really I don't know what it is that I would change, but I feel like it just needs to be cleaned up a little bit.
Yeah, I think I see where you're coming from. And yeah, you're right. I don't know. If I was me, like I said, take the outline away from the color, from the liquid inside.
Yeah.
And make the face a little more less cutesy, I guess you could say, more menacing, yeah. And instead of having that black, change it into a darker blue tone. That way you can see it's from the liquid, maybe.
I feel like that outline around the liquid is just made to feel like there's glass there. There's like the glass has a thickness.
It's a negative space behind it? No, it's a color, right?
Yeah, it's like a color. Yeah, so I think it's like look like that part's glass. It's like glass is hold the liquid because it's such a thick one. So I don't know what I would do to change it. Aesthetically, it's drawn beautifully. Like it's just something about it that seems off. Maybe like less is more in this situation. I don't know. Maybe it's too many bubbles.
I think that if we take the hands and just add the bubbles, would it still look good if you take out the hands?
I think it maybe potentially if you remove the hands, get rid of some bubbles, let the subject matter be the feature of the hat, it'll be more more strong, I think.
Yeah.
And the colorway to me, it looks cool, but I can't tell if that's like a light green or a chrome. I'm assuming he's wanting to do chrome front. But then like the inside of the hands is the same color, and then the inside of the thing is I don't know that. Yeah, I feel like there's a coloring issue too.
Yeah. Maybe I think green screams more toxic to me than teal. I think.
Yeah, like a slime green almost.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, there's almost like a mouthwash. Yeah, but
toxic too.
Yeah, don't drink the mouthwash.
No.
But a great job, Jake. Good try. I think this is like a recent too, because I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
This before.
I think I saw it like, to be honest, Monday or Tuesday.
Yeah, totally. All right, let's see what else we got here. Creatures Zone and Aurelian are back with Enchanted instead of enchanted.
That's a nice play on words.
Yeah, he's like a little wizard frog. You're reading out of the spell book. He's got a dragonfly wand.
Love it.
This is a really interesting. It's got the Washington like Commanders, Redskins, like maroon. And,
Yeah.
like I mean, a lot of
Yeah.
teams use that colorway. USC comes to mind. It's interesting that it's yellow under. I know Donovan hates.
Yeah, I know,
yellow
right?
unders, so
I was gonna say that's a hard sell for him. So I don't know. I wonder if he had a say in that.
mhm. What do you think of the
But yeah,
yellow tongue?
say it again.
What do you think of the yellow tongue?
Yellow tongue. I don't know if I'm really liking the yellow tongue, to be honest. It gets lost with the eye because eyes
Yeah,
are yellow too.
yeah. I'll just flip that to pink. Fuck it.
Yeah, flip it to pink. Yeah, you're right. That way you can see that it's actually a tongue coming out of its mouth, right? Because it is kind of gets lost. When I look at it, I see the eyes and then the tongue, where the yellow, the three yellows there, and I'm like, I can't really tell. But yeah, pink would be nice.
Yeah, it's like a pale pink. It doesn't even have to be like a really strong pink.
Yeah.
I'd play with the dragonfly a little bit too. Maybe make him choke up on it a little bit. He's holding it in a weird position. Maybe like at the bottom of the tail, make it like really seem like it's a wand.
Yeah, I see what you mean. But it's a great. I like how it incorporated the dragonfly and his broken wings.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Pretty cool. But yeah, if you lower the where he's gripping the dragonfly, maybe give it a little different look. I like this hat. Aurelian has this thing about he simplifies a drawing and makes it look so good,
Yeah.
and it's great. Like it's great for embroidery, and he knows his stuff.
Would you give him like a fake beard? Wizards usually have like a really scruffy beard.
I wouldn't, just because then you will lose the whole bottom part of the
Yeah,
frog, right? Then
like that.
I don't think it'll look like a frog anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. Would you give it a beard? Or little specks of hair?
That's the thing though. If you give it a beard, you're right. You lose that bulge. I don't know.
And
Maybe
then,
I'm thinking out loud, maybe, but yeah, I'm seeing the fly in kind of my mumble thinking. But yeah, like it's a cool design. It's a toad. Looks more like a frog than a toad, really. But yeah, like it's
Works.
enchanted, Toad.
toad. Yeah.
It's fun.
It's a great play on words. I like the
Yeah.
design. If this is one probably I would buy if it went through. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. The only thing for me is I don't know if it needs the gold, like the yellow, the gold.
Oh, but we're.
I don't know if it helps it or hurts it. For sure, I'd lose it in the tongue. Maybe you keep it in the eye, maybe not.
Yeah, tongue. You for sure. The tongue's got to get the. I'm surprised the under visor is not a teal color, like that greenish teal color.
Yeah, I mean, you could pull that kind of taupe color, the kind of camel in the book on the under.
Mhm.
You don't necessarily have to go the gold, but yeah, all in all, strong work. And moving on, I think we got a couple of yours.
Oh,
Fertility
wow.
Goddess.
Oh wow! I thought this was lost somewhere.
Surprise! You got to talk about your own. I guess just tell us a little bit about. You gave me one I could pronounce, so thank you for that. Usually, I'm embarrassing myself trying to pronounce the names of this, but yeah, you went Fertility Goddess for this one. Tell us about this one.
This one's kind of like a secondary follow-up to my previous one. That is Chen, Moon Goddess.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically the same goddess, but it's what's it called? This is more of a carving in the wall you will find depicting her, right?
Yeah.
What's it called? And I couldn't call it Chen anymore, so that's why I called it Fertility Goddess, because she's known as the fertility goddess in the Mayan mythology as fertility goddess, moon goddess, and my daughter's middle name is Chell, right? I've always tried to incorporate something. So I did change the rabbit because the rabbit in the original one didn't look like a rabbit. And then the little arch on the side, it's how they used to depict the moon, right? And Mesoamerican carvings and drawings. So I like the whole concept of fertility, right? Birth, death, rebirth. And I think the rabbit is what gives it the rebirth type of vibe. And she's definitely a goddess, I guess you can say, that I always read about and see things about, which is why I named my daughter like that. But I like this one. I like the simplicity of, I wanted to try something like just one color, right? one color and I wanted to see it raised. I know Clink Room does their magic and stuff, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna try and do something with less colors, no outline. And it was a tough challenge for me because I'm always doing the outlines and stuff. But I like it. Obviously, I'm biased. I like it,
For
you know.
sure.
And I like the color too. The colors, I like that maroon or like the dark red color. What are
Yeah,
your thoughts?
Cardinal always looks great with Kelly
Yeah,
Green. So number
yeah.
one, and you think you nailed it with that. I like the aspect of it being like just raised with negative colors. It's almost like it's carved in there, like you would see on a like carved into a wall or some type of artifact. So that's really uh, fun for me. The one thing that I worry about a little bit is the etching. So maybe
Mm-hmm.
that would have to be done one shot
Yeah, and
with that kind of chrome white color, and then they would have
mm-hmm.
to stitch the etching in as a
Yeah.
negative color.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if you would totally achieve the one colorness of it, but it would still look great. The one
Right,
little
right.
thing I would maybe pick on is maybe the rabbit's nose a little bit, but other
Yeah,
you
that's
know,
true. You're right. It's a little
it's
sticking out.
yeah, but other than that, it's a beautifully drawn. You immediately get drawn to the face of the character, and then there's that rabbit that creates the balance of it. So it's a well put together piece here.
Yeah,
I like it, and I'm not just pandering. I like most of your stuff, so
appreciate
this is a
that.
really cool thing. Like you could see this in like a textbook or uh,
Mm-hmm.
etched on a building somewhere. But yeah, I think you did a great
Yeah,
job.
yeah. Thank you. I appreciate it.
And you used like an off white color,
Ye-
or is that white?
I think it's normal white, normal
Okay.
white. The thing about also is I think when I posted this, I added different colors, right? Not just white. Like I
Mm-hmm.
think I added a teal looking one with a dark blue hat.
Okay.
With one colors you can. I think I even posted one that was like a stone.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of make it look like you were saying the carving coming out of an old
Yeah. So this is the one
stone.
they chose, basically.
Yeah,
Okay.
which is a nice color too.
Be interesting to see which one makes it through. But yeah, great job on this one.
Yeah.
And you have a second one
Oh.
in Chris
Whew.
collaboration with COD. So the Dairy
Oh
Goddess.
man,
Tell
The
us about
Dairy
this one.
Goddess. This one, shout outs to COD, Steve. He pitched me the idea to continue his God series, right? Trash God, Picnic God, and we were talking about it, and I was like, we went through several ideas, and we initially called it Holy Cow, right? And we went through sketches. I told him, let me sketch something. I have an idea. Let me sketch something. And I sketched the cow, and I wanted to position it in a way that it was like a yoga meditating pose. Give it the holy vibe. And then they don't want to show. I wanted the cow to be covering herself from the bottom part.
Cover
And
the
I'm
udders.
gonna give
Yeah.
her, yeah, the udders, yeah. And I'm gonna just give it a little cloth and cover it, see how it looks. And the floating parts of that it has there. We initially had the milk and the cheese mirrored both sides, right? But then we posted it and people commented and gave us a suggestion for butter, for ice cream. We went back and added those aspects and it's great talking back and forth with Steve and giving me, you know, tips and directions and from him coloring it too and everything, right? The whole process, I think collabing with another artist is fun because you learn from them, you pick up certain things and it's great, the back and forth communication. And I love this color. And I remember he showed me all the colorways that he selected, and I had no problem with any colorways he posted. They were all good. They all made the design pop. You know, I
Yeah,
do like it.
it's got that like sky blue and the moonbeam yellow. It reminds me of like a Tampa Bay Rays almost kind of.
Yeah,
It's a really
that's
smooth
true.
and interesting hat. Where I would probably want to, if I were to make any adjustments, I would maybe make the rays a little bit either come out more or
I see what you're saying. Yeah, a little
less
coming out more
rigid,
from the.
maybe.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, but
Yeah, I can see that.
it's a fun hat for sure. Maybe I'd give like a tiny little smirk to the cow, maybe a little bit of like just a little view of the teeth, maybe. But either
Mm-hmm.
way, drawn really well. I like the imagery. I like the symmetry of it as well. It's a strong hat, all in all. I like it.
Okay.
I like to see when artists work together and you can't really tell who did what, if that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm.
So that's more of like a true collaboration to me rather than when some people think of collaborations like, yo, here's my design, run it. That's not really a cult,
Mm-hmm.
like a collab. Like it's not really
Yeah.
working together. So This one I
Right.
can't really tell like which parts you drew and which parts he drew. So that's where you guys are really like shining in terms of the collaboration part.
Yeah, that's the best part. Back and forth. Love it. Love it. I love this design. When we had the finished imagery,
Mhm.
I'm like, I like it. I like it a lot. And then he mocked it when we mocked it up and stuff inside. I'm like, oh man, this looks so good.
For sure. And it's
So
always
hopefully
fun.
it does good. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I think it will. I think it will. And it's also cool to watch like artists do like a series within like their own work. So
Yeah.
like you said, he's got the trash goddess, the trash
Temple God,
Yeah.
the Temple God, which we did together too, which that was awesome too.
Yeah. He's doing a great job. All right. I think that's it. That is it. So that concludes our Sundays with the Clink Room festivities. Man, I thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to come in and give the chance to the Clinkers to get to know you a little bit better. I don't think I've seen you on many lives, right?
No, I've been a couple lives here and there with the Monday evening crits, I
Okay.
think, here and there, but that was like a while ago, and it's been really minimal, right?
Yeah. So we got to get
Yeah.
you more. We got to get you out more.
This is how I look. Sometimes I get confused by a girl, but that I'm a girl, right? Because of the name Sierra, right?
Oh,
So
okay.
I had a couple of DMs telling me, "Oh, I love your work," and then I'm like, "Wait a minute, it's okay." But I'm just gonna tell you this and that. But it's all good now. Everybody can see me. This is Sierragonz,
There you go.
you know,
There you
from
go.
Toronto.
From Toronto. I always have to point it out when I say it. It's my boy. But yeah,
I
thank you so
appreciate you
much.
calling me out in all the shows. I
Always.
did you. Oh, it's Toronto, from Toronto. It never
Has to.
fails, and I'm like, I feel a little goosebumps when it happens. You
No,
know?
us Canadians, we got to stick together, man. There's not many of us in the space, so anytime I get to shout out a fellow Canadian, I want to make sure that's just
I
how I
agree.
am. I'm wired like that. But in terms of where people can find you, let them know what's the easiest way to reach you.
At Sierragonz _. That's my Instagram. That's basically, I don't have Facebook. I don't have anything else. Just that. And don't be a stranger. If you want to message me, message me. I get a lot of people messaging me about collabs and stuff. And I love hearing ideas and stuff like that, right? But let me know if you don't be a stranger. Just message me if you want to ask me something or even advice, right? Because when I started, a lot of people gave me advice. And if someone wants to reach out for me for an idea or even for just a little advice on something or anything, I'm there. If I don't answer you right away, don't take it as I'm ignoring you. Sometimes life gets busy, and I'll get back to you.
Perfect. Thank you again for doing this. For Nelson and Leon, we're signing out, guys. We out of here.
Take care, guys. See ya.
Peace.
Tough to miss hit. Threadless switch slip cross the clip with 6 fists. Ain't no defense with this. A chick versus gorillas in the mist. This isn't the comp, it's me versus how fast I can bash you.
Brought to you by VFTV.